All right, welcome everyone, Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Apothecary Diaries, Season 2, Episode 8. Mau, you just keep getting into all sorts of fun situations.
Yes, you do.
Like hanging out with the Emperor and Jinshi. Oh yeah, being taken into the super special royalty
choosing
shrine. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm sure that's nothing. I'm sure that was strictly just like we wonder how this works. Oh, you seem to have an idea maybe? All right, let's satisfy this intellectual curiosity. There will be no other ramifications of what happened last episode.
No. You won't be the concubine of Jinshi. What? Wait, what?
Huh?
What? I mean, wait, if he can have a concubine.
Don't worry, it's in title only because like he can't actually
he
can't actually do the deed, you know. So
right. So maybe he can,
but just nothing comes of it.
He's just not gonna be having any swimmers, you know.
Right. Or something. Yeah, I don't know. I want that to be followed up on.
I think we all want that to be followed up on.
Except for Mau, maybe.
I think Jinshi specifically is like...
I very much want that to be.
So,
Mau, do you want to talk about last night?
You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about my backstory?
Right.
She's just like, I don't care.
It was a cool puzzle. Right, but like, you know, something else.
There's some other stuff
from last night.
Possibly, like maybe, Jinshi.
And it's like, wait, the concubine thing? You're not actually taking that serious, are you? And she gets this disgusted look on her face, and he's like...
And he just crawls into a corner, and mushrooms start growing on him. He's like, yo,
shit. Yeah, just comes by and pats his head.
No, he's coming over and snipping the mushrooms off.
Yep.
Yeah.
But next episode, let's go.
Without further ado, let's get into this. Well.
Oh.
Very interesting. The Empress Dowager. We are going into his backstory.
No, for Mau, this is a reward.
And now it has happened. I love that. Let's go.
Can I move into the storage shed?
Incredible.
I love it.
Yep, this is the best place ever.
Oh, she's fantastic.
I have now made it what I've done. Oh, now she's getting in trouble for...
Right. Yeah, that was her previous room. Yeah.
Yeah. Aren't we a sisterhood?
Right.
Yeah, she punished herself. This little masochist. The girls are just wanting to have a tea party.
Right.
Like, can you not? Like,
it's very different.
You're ruining my reputation.
Right. She understood that.
Yep. I don't know. Wow, she just throws it to some random...
Yeah.
We'll take you to exactly where she is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's interesting that she brought the... Oh. A cricket?
Uh-oh, don't let her see it.
Ah,
Oh my god.
that's
Yeah,
nasty.
that's gross.
It's not a small bug either.
No. Oh. Fancy procession. Okay, okay.
Oh, the Empress Dowager, yep.
Oh.
Ah. What? You speak almost as
Okay.
if from experience. Whoa. Interesting.
ババアも廃止が決まった時はヒヤヒヤしたって言ってたな。表向きは廃止された奴隷制度だが、名前を変えて今も存在している。
Ah.
Prisoners with jobs.
皇太后様が乗り出すなら、高級の医療体制に改革が起こるかもしれない。
Sure.
そんな話ならぜひ聞きたいが。やり直し。はい。これで3度目だ。とうとういびりが始まったのかと思ったが。甘いわよ。
No, it's everybody.
なんだ。誰か来るのか。
Yeah. Empress Dowager. Yeah.
アンシ様、確か人種の元より手配された次女よね。
Yes.
しごきがいのある子が高級に戻ったって。睡蓮は昔、私。
Whoa.
アンシ様、申し訳ありませんが、リンリンが疲れたようなので、寝かしつけてきてもよろし。
Just, it's crazy how connected everybody is. Despite this place being so large.
Yeah.
あなた、いろいろな問題ごとを解決しているそうね。私は自分が持っている知識の中でわかる範囲でいいの。調べてもらいたいのよ。私は先の帝に呪いをかけたのかしら。
Interesting. Okay.
So he was medically unwell.
Right.
That's why he was being consigned to his room. And then he went to go see Jinshi. Right. Oh, puppet of the Empress. Okay. Wow. Gotcha.
今の帝を出産される際、まだ体が育ちきっ
Right. Uh-huh.
そしてその出産を
Yeah.
手伝うため
Yeah.
させられたのが我が親父ルオーメンだ。皇太后様はその後王帝を出産した。王帝の年齢は確か私の一つ。
Yep. Whoever he is.
Yeah.
王帝は本当に先帝の子なのか。
Mm-hmm.
こんなこと口にしたら打ち首にされかねない。
She's starting to figure it out.
玉葉様の妊娠は公然の秘密だが、面と向かっての茶会であれば、あからさまな探りを入れられることもある。リーシュ妃が言うとすれば、次女にそそのかされた場合だが、元毒味役の次女頭が出しゃばるとは思え。
So our only
Right.
problem then is Lilith. Yeah.
それであなただけど、皇太后様が手伝いに貸してほしいそうよ。
Okay.
また何か問題を持ち込む。
Yeah.
別にいいわ。どうせ言えないことでしょうから。タッチ。玉葉さんを裏切るような真似はしないでちょうだいね。ならいいわ。そうです。
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
皇太后様の用事と言ったら呪いの剣だよな。
All right, here's her lady in waiting. Yeah.
先へは入れません。この先は掃除の者も入室を許可されておりませんので。
なんだこの匂い。この部屋。
Oh, this is where he was confined to.
Oh.
Oh.
女帝と呼ばれた方の部屋であり、先帝が育まれた場所でもあり。
Ah, okay. Yes. Yes, it is.
Gotcha.
It was his space as well. Okay, okay.
先帝と 女帝と呼ばれた母君はあの部屋にこもることが多くなりました。
So-called Empress.
失礼ですがお若かったわけではありませんよね。
天寿を全うされたと言ってもいいお年でした。
ではなぜ皇太后様は呪いだと。
私が呪ったの。いなくなればいいと。ずっとずっと。
Well, I mean, yeah, because he effectively took advantage of her. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
翌年、主上と安氏様は先帝を埋葬するためご遺体をご覧になったのですが、ご遺体は亡くなられた時と。
What?
それで安氏様はご自身が先帝に呪いをかけたと。
Cool. Cool. So some aspect of the disease maybe was preserving the body.
もうじきあの胸は取り壊されます。それまでに調べてもらいたいのです。
わかりました。ただし一つお願いがあります。
And we don't get to hear it. Okay. Okay.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay.
Fun.
Okay, we
All right.
got ourselves a proper mystery here.
Yep. Yeah, I love the idea of this mystery too, just from the scale and like importance of this, right?
Yeah.
And then also tying into the stuff that we got seeded about Jinshi's past in the previous episode.
Yeah.
So let's go.
Yeah, it feels like the continuation mystery atop the royal, like, family rear palace mystery that's been going on thus far.
Right.
And that, Jinshi is obviously someone who could have theoretically become the emperor. There's all kinds of things about Jinshi's position in the palace that beggars certain kinds of, beggars belief, but also is like clear that forces put him here to make sure that things would go a certain way.
That's the whole reason for him being a eunuch, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Let's not complicate things.
Yeah. Almost at this point, eunuch. Like we might need to revisit that at some point. But either way, right now, the previous emperor died quite long after like living a full life. Was not a good person.
Oh, yeah.
Very clearly not just a bad ruler from that respect, but also just a horrible man in that we knew that he was courting younger, and I mean really younger concubines.
Right. And I like that we got the context that even when Mao Mao hears about the late emperor, it's almost always negative, because the idea of like, oh, okay, you know, he took a child as a concubine, right? All right, that's, you know, ye olden times and all that stuff, right? But then let's see how the people of the time view, you know, the person and all of that stuff. So that was cool and very helpful to get that additional perspective.
Yeah, and there's nothing that he's like some, like that all the other people are such moral, you know, like
exactly, right,
icons in that regard.
Right.
And given that our current emperor's only prerequisite is what size are your breasts? You know, what's your bust size? And otherwise, he doesn't care. So yeah, that's a whole thing. But he died, and yet when he was uncovered a year later, his body had not decayed at all. At least had not appeared to decayed at all. Now, someone could have make-upped him. Someone could be doing something in that regard. But let's just go with it's a weird freak medical thing for now, just so that we can kind of maybe parse out as to, like, why would the Empress Dowager believe that she cursed him?
Right.
Now, obviously, I understand that she doesn't like him.
Yeah, and
or she never liked him.
Right. And so from that angle... Oh, absolutely. You were probably cursing him and, you know, a pox upon him and, you know, wish that he would get, you know, struck down dead.
Right, but if
you know,
he
every
died
day.
In his really old age.
Right, exactly. Like there's because it's the Empress Dowager, Mao Mao doesn't have a lot of time to talk to her in depth.
Right.
But that's also, like, that's a complication that makes sense, but it's also something that I feel like
it's probably going to get remedied in an episode or two.
Right, and that might be...
more talks between the two of them.
Exactly, and that might be where Mao Mao starts to be able to figure this out, because... sure, you cursed him, whatever, but, like, you know, you got to the point where you were, you know, in your 30s, right, and you know, had another kid and all that stuff, so clearly either something special happened way later that made you think you cursed him, or you think that your curse just took a really long time to land and stick, right? So that's more things that we need to unpack there. But
who's this kid that she had in her 30s?
That was when Mama was like, is it possible that the son that she doesn't know is Jinchi, that wouldn't actually be, the child of the late emperor.
Right, but she didn't have a kid in her 30s, though.
I believe that's Mama mentioned that right around the time that she said the thing about Jinchi.
Are you saying that because right, because if the current emperor is 35-ish, then then she was really young when she had him,
and then Jinchi was way later.
Right.
Yeah, because Jinshi's like 19.
So then, but then she would still be in her 20s, like she would still be like mathematically, still wouldn't have been that old.
Well, okay. There was an amount of time around 20 years, right, from the birth of the first, or the emperor now, right, to Jinchi, right, where the late emperor was still alive, right? And so that's something that amount of, like, if it was that, okay, the emperor was born and all that stuff, and then the late emperor died like not long after, I could see that, right, where it's the in the height of you absolutely wishing this person dead, right? But as time goes on, what changed?
But we had the swap with Aduo, whereas Aduo was the actual child, the actual mother of Jinchi, though.
No, I got that, right.
Okay.
Basically, what I'm trying to get at is that this is a very fun mystery to get into, both from the plot ramifications of like the social status of the person bringing this request, right? But then also just the impact that it's going to have on Mao Mao, on Jinchi, and all of that stuff. And then on top of that, the very like cool fundamental aspect of, wait, this doesn't make sense. How is a body not decayed after a year? That shouldn't happen, right? Like that's a very concrete thing that Mao Mao can hopefully figure out. I think what it's probably going to be is that, he wasn't actually dead, right? And so there wasn't any decay that needed to happen. But
if he's got some kind of state or what have you where he gets up at very rare points or what have you, they could keep him sequestered for a period of time. And especially if he had some kind of illness that was something of the mind, where it was better that they kept him sedated or what have you for a long period of time, just so that he wasn't going about being problematic. Then they end up in a situation where he either just slowly succumbs to it. There's all kinds of things that could be gotten into there. I do find it more kind of interesting to see how this ties back into the family situation, though, with Jinchi and everybody. But for now, we're just going to have to settle in on this. We just have the premise right now of the mystery. Most of the hints are things that are probably relegated to things like Jinchi's nightmare that he had. Because he's going to be a part of this investigation as well at some point. Given that Mao Mao probably doesn't have the means to just, grab the most detailed of information from the library and it actually give her relevant stuff, because this is some kind of secret that goes all the way to the most powerful people in the palace. So it probably wouldn't have been written down anywhere.
Right. And if the circumstances of the late emperor's death were, altered or whatever, right?
Or just suspect in general.
Yeah, suspect in general. And, he was being problematic. I could totally see it being something where it's because we want people to, treat the emperor as basically a god, we don't want someone who is, of compromised health going around and being seen, right?
Maybe. But the point that everybody kind of knows that the emperor was this shitty guy and was ultimately just a puppet of the empress. That's kind of interesting as well, because then you could get into the stuff of, but the emperor's mother, the late emperor's mother, was the one that was seemingly like always bringing him back to this place and having like way too much hands-on kind of connection with him.
Yeah.
To where it might even bring some suspect onto her and what she was doing around that time as well.
Another reason why I want to have more conversations between Mao Mao and the Empress Dowager, because that could be very relevant to the situation.
Because if you're the current emperor's mother and you were the small child basically that was brought in a scary situation to the rear palace and ends up basically getting taken advantage of, there's this horrible situation you're in right there. And if the mother of the emperor at that current time and that emperor have a bit too close of a relationship, you could then even more so have somebody who's not in your corner, specifically with the emperor's mother there.
Or like that, and also because of how shitty the situation was, if there's something that is happening behind the scenes with the emperor of the time, it would make sense that the Empress Dowager might not be privy to it because, oh my God, something happens that makes it so that there is time that I don't have to be around this monster. Fantastic. I'm not going to question that, right? But,
and then also the fact that she was extremely young, so she's not also necessarily capable of reading between the lines of all these kinds of adult machinations and things going on.
Sure, yeah.
Given that also we know, by and large, that the emperor at the time would have been about half his age, most likely, at the time. Like, he was not, like, a grotesquely old man, given the age of the current emperor.
Sure.
So he was probably in his 30s. You know, or what have you.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
So he was probably not what I would call, like if there was any kind of brain disease or anything like that, some kind of dementia or anything like that, it probably wouldn't have set in at that point.
Sure. Yep.
Which then ties into the idea that she believes she cursed the emperor because the disease, the affliction,
showed up
the
after
medical
she
issue,
came around.
the medical issue happened after a certain point of probably them having been together for a while.
Sure.
And if it is something like dementia or anything similar to that, the only reason why I keep harping on that is because in Jinshi's nightmare,
he didn't seem like
he didn't
aware.
seem fully there, and the way that the Empress Dowager of that time was kind of doing things, she seemed very much like, okay, let's grab you, bring you over here.
Right.
You know?
The fact that it's not just her being like, this needs to happen or whatever, I need to manage this person that isn't capable of managing themselves, but like the servants as well being like, all right, and now we're going to grab you by the arms and drag you back into your room. Right. Like that's wild. But yeah.
But okay.
Fun arc.
All this is also connected a little bit with just the idea that, yes, there's someone that's teaching these women about poisons and stuff.
Yep.
And we brought up a little bit the point that, hey, Mama, you should go talk with Shisui. And Shisui is obviously your, it is Shisui, right? Yeah, Shisui. Is your bug collector. But she is wandering around the north, patch of forest, the little area here as well, an area that's been tightly focused on the rest of the story here. But then also the flowers that were transplanted that she brought up as the places that, or the flowers that were here that were brought up as potential stuff for the abortion drug, were a lot of them the ones that Lumen transferred here. So I'll just throw out the idea that you could have someone teaching people about poisons and stuff and not have it be someone that's necessarily malicious. It could just have been information that Lumen was passing along to a lot of
he
other
had an
people.
Assistant or something, while he was back here. And
Right. And even if it is then an assistant that's malicious or what have you, the idea then that the information itself came into the rear palace through Mao Mao's adopted father makes a lot of sense, given that he's the only person we've had addressed in the story to have more knowledge than Mao Mao in this area specifically.
Right. And they did bring up, I like that they kind of reminded us, the audience of this, of But the things that they got weren't actually from the natural sources that are already here. They got them from the caravan. So whoever is being educated on these things now by the person that's still around, they don't actually know themselves, right? Because they had to get it from the caravan and things. They didn't just get, most of, like, they could have gotten almost everything from here.
No. Wait, hold on. What are you talking about?
So she was saying how, like, all the different flowers, she's like, there's plenty of stuff here that could be used to make an abortion drug.
Right.
But the stuff that people were getting was specifically coming from the caravan. Like they got the stuff from when the caravan came in.
That's Shin specifically. She's talking about here how Shin got her abortion drug ingredients through the caravan. And thus, if she actually did have knowledge of this,
right, she was taught how to make the poison, but she didn't have,
she herself didn't have the knowledge to do that.
Right.
Because when she looks at these flowers, she doesn't know what their names are. But the idea then that someone who does know and had other people that were getting the actual means to then make a lot of these poisons and stuff, they could have gotten it from here. She's just talking about how Shin didn't get the stuff from the flowers.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but there are others again. Suirei, who I almost, in a hilarious sense, mixed up her name with Suiren's. The Empress Dowager said Suiren was here. And I was like,
wait, what?
Oh, and then I saw the picture.
Right.
Like, oh,
the other Obachan, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So, yeah. But yeah, I'm excited to see how even more of this is connected even back before things here, because I've just been getting this vibe that the familial situation within this palace is bad to the core, because all the male heirs of the current emperor are dying shortly after being born.
Right.
Gyokuyu's was her name Lingli?
Something like that.
Yeah, Lingli.
Yeah.
Girl.
She's a girl. Yeah.
Not had any issues.
Right.
Now, she had a close call, but again, survived.
Right.
So maybe that's a coincidence.
Right.
Maybe
no need to have some renewed attempts because, it's not going to be an heir.
Right. But if we have a conspirator, if we have a conspiracy going on here and that someone is trying to basically murder or set up a reason for which all these children would end up dead, the motivations would be old. They would not be new.
Okay.
They would be something that would
like
come
it.
from somebody that's been here a while.
Sure. Yeah, like we have that whole character that's the old lady who clued into Mao Mao, like being the one who made the medicine.
Right, the laundry lady.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And that whole place was apparently established by the Empress Dowager.
Yeah, Shenlu.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, fun stuff.
Yeah, very, very curious. And the impact of this is now potentially going back further.
Right. This
generations.
This is the history of the royal family conflict arc.
Yeah. And I'm excited to see Jinshi get brought into this, because the emotions of him as a character dealing with this could lead to more connections with Mao Mao. So good stuff. But yeah, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all of this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out our Twitch channel. See if anything that interests you, we'll see it there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.